Good afternoon, everybody. How's things? It's not been too bad over here. We've got, however, grey clouds one side, sunny clouds and sky the other. So I'm not quite sure which way it's going to go, but it doesn't really matter because we're indoors and we're going to spend the next, I don't know, up to an hour doing a bit of tangling. So hope you're all ready for this. It's going to be a good one, hopefully. I thought I'd give you a bit of a challenge for the weekend. So if you're feeling that you need a little bit of extra tangling, a little bit extra sort of chill out time, then this might be the tile for you because it can sort of extend itself into something a little bit more, which I can show you towards the end of the tile. Hi Garth. So yeah, oh Pat, hello everybody. Pat loved the new photograph that you put on the other day. Looks really good. But yeah, what do I have today then? Okay, I've got a tile. I've actually got the very pale blue out of the sorbet tiles. It's sort of like a pale blue-grey colour. And I have got some ink, an ink pad, there we go. So I'm going to do a little bit of inking after we've drawn it. Just because I know it's just nice to see different ways. I've got my regular pen, pencil, tortillon. I have actually got a blue, here we go, a blue fine liner. My little set there. So I'll be using that as well, hopefully. I just want to put a little hint of colour. And then if I get round to it or I want to use it, I've got my blue gel pen as well. So a bit of a theme here. I'm going to stick with black for the majority of it, but again, it's just nice now and again, I think, to mix it up a little bit. So are we ready? Okay, I'm going to go, it doesn't matter about going too large at the moment. I'm going to start with a pencil. Okay, I'm going to start in one corner. Now, you can start in any corner. So if I'm starting here, you can start here if it's more comfortable for you. Again, I'm just going to take my watch off because it doesn't sort of click on the board then. But it's just more comfortable for me to work that way. And again, if you want to put yourself a little guide in, you know, just a little bit of a diagonal line, just I think sometimes that helps. Because what I want to do is I'm going to create, say, about, not right at the top, just a little bit further down. So, there you go, a little bit further down. See the mark there? And a mark there, so it's in a similar position. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a curve. So I'm going to just sort of draw it in first, you know, just imagine, and then put it in. See, we'll do it in pencil because you might want to sketch it a little bit. There we go. Let's just draw about those little bits there. I think once you've got the first one, we're good to go. All right, so we've got that kind of curve. So I'm going to put a smaller one at the bottom, and again, just having somewhere to work to, I think really helps. So again, sort of, oh, it looks a bit wide. There you go. A little bit of a curve there. Okay. So whilst we're on curves, now we've got this one. I'm going to do a couple more, quite a narrow one. So this is almost like an aura. And again, we may come in and put these in pen later, but for now, let's just add them in pencil. And then another narrow one. So I'm not quite up to the point yet. You might be, but don't worry if you are, or you're not. You just want a couple of lines. Looks like a little rainbow, doesn't it? There we go. And let's have a wider one. So this time I'm going to bring it round here. Something a bit wider. Okay, see that? Yeah, that's about right. And then let's have a look. See if I can get 3 more in here. If you can't, don't worry. It's just that we've got something to work to there. Okay. So sticking with my pencil just for a minute, I want to focus on this here because we put this line in. I'm going to just sort of draw that one in there for now. Maybe that one. Yeah. And then these two I'm going to split into 2. So again, just imagine one there. And then here, look. One there. Okay. Oh, this construction. And then sort of, not too far down, I'm going to put some little marks. Okay. So we've got that. Oh, Sam, in what way does it need adjusting? Looks fine to me in a sense, but let's zoom out and in again. Is that okay? There we go. Okay. So I'm going to come in with pen now. Regular pen. I'm not going to use my coloured one yet. I'm going to stick with my black. And I want to focus on these little sections here. See where we just put these little lines? So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There you go. So between this dot and this dot, I want to create a little bit of a curve here. So again, if you feel that you want to put a mark on the top there and create that first bit. And then, okay, so I don't know what I did, but as long as it's fine, that's okay. Okay. So the same on this one. So again, if you want to mark sort of a center point, and then you're going to create your curve, go from one point and down to the next. And then same again, so up and along here and around and down to the next. And the same for this one, right on the edge there and along and down. Okay, so let's have a quick look. There we are, I've got that sort of little scalloped kind of edge shape going on there. Okay, so far so good. Oh, Joe, yes, I am on Hobby Maker on Sunday. I am. Doing what? Who's to know? Okay, so I want to put myself a little sort of square there. You see, the same sort of thing. You're only going to see part of one there, aren't you? And then another one here. I'm not measuring it particularly. I just want it a little bit wider than that line there. It gives us that shape. Okay. Chris, honestly, I just turn up. I'll be preppy tomorrow. So we know we've got, oh goodness me, Bernadette, cracked ribs. Goodness sake. I hope you're okay. I hope you're not in too much pain. I know we're all sort of, quite a few of you not well at the moment. I hope anybody that isn't, I hope for a speedy recovery, I really do. I know we've been a few in hospital and such things, so take it easy, everybody. There you go. See, I've done a little aura on the inside there. So I'm going to do the same. I'm not going right to the end. Let's go a bit bigger so you can see. See, I'm not going right to the end of those little rectangle shapes there, but I want a little bit of the border in. Okay. There we go. And again, whichever works for you, whether you want to work from the middle back down again, or whether you want to work up ways, whatever works, as long as you get something that's a little bit similar. And along we go. See, sort of, if you can, don't have to rush, but try and do it in one or two little strokes there. You get a sort of slightly smoother line. Okay, so let's have a look at this. There we are. So our next bit is looking at this line here. So what I want to do is I'm going to draw either side of the line, and I'm going to sort of follow this one and bring it down. But I'm not going to go all the way to touch that line I've done earlier. See, leaving a bit of a gap. Because then I'm going to do the same here. Oh, it needs a steady hand. Don't panic though, you could always use a straight edge. And then on here I'm going to join the two. You see, so we've got that little gap there. So on the next one, follow this down again so it sits at either side of that initial line. There you go. So you can still see that pencil line in between there. And then down this one, taking your time. And then again, see, I'm going to follow the curve, draw that one in. So same with the other two now. So if you want to do all these lines first, maybe that one and then this one, and this one, and then this one. There we go. And then I'm going to join this one to here, this one to here. I think at this point now I'm going to put that one in there. Okay, so we've got that kind of a shape. So whilst we're at this bottom point, I'm going to use that line just as a guide. I'm going to come on up and add in a little curl and then bring it back down. And the same the other way, up, bring it round as a curl and then back down. Just put a couple of little bobbles in there, and you know, we can carry it away a bit. Let's put a little shape in there too. There we go. Okay, so not too bad so far, so good. We've got that sorted. So let's have a look at these little triangles in between. So I'm going to start with this middle one so you can see how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go inside the line. It's almost like we've got that aura again. Follow it round and create that kind of shape there. And same with the others. So again, if you want to do this first line to start with, and then one there, you go, and then bring it down and around. I wonder if any of you have managed to find all your tiles and do a photograph of them yet. And I would sort of set that as a bit of a challenge the other day. And got mine. I've got I think book 4 of mine's missing at the moment. I've just got to give that a hunt down. I think it's back in the craft room at home. But it's definitely there somewhere. I think I actually turned them into cards if I remember rightly. So it's it might be that I have to do a photograph of them, print them out at tile size so I can have the full collection. At least it's a printout. So you're going to straight across and joining in that line now. There we go. So let's go ahead now, and if you're comfortable with it, putting in those other curves. You see, I'm going to try keep it as consistent as I can, sort of working my way around. Oh, rows it would be good, wouldn't it? Or you could use, oh good grief, look at that. You could use one of the circle frames, I suppose, to get you started with it. Or whatever you've got round. Or it doesn't have to be round, it can be a bit of a wobble if you want it to be. It doesn't have to be completely. You see it there they are. So you've got a bit of a dip there, but it doesn't matter. We'll sort it. Okay, so let's just go out a bit so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna leave this first one, although you see where we've got this little kink here. It might be one of those things that you want to come on in and actually add just a little row of bubbles. It's a great little piece to do, and a little sort of filler that gives it that little bit of a change. So it takes your eye away from that little mark there. And straight in along there. There we go. See, it doesn't look like there's a kink there anymore, just part of the design. So never sort of worry about whether it looks right or not. There's always something you can add. It doesn't have to be the same as mine, as you know, so you can just come on in and do your thing with it. There you go. All right, so I'm going to leave this one with no tangles in it particularly, but this one above it, I am. So I'm not going to, I'm going to start, let's have a think, it doesn't matter where. I'm going to come in with a curve. Now if I go a bit bigger again. Karen, yours was definitely swapped because you did send me a little card, so thank you for that. So we know it's sort of been done. But I don't know why it wasn't in the photo, but it's definitely gone and been swapped. Okay, see here that I'm just sort of creating this little slight curve. Just sort of up and down as I go. So you see, if I'm having to stop, I'm stopping the bottom or the top of the curve, not sort of in the middle like that. So you can keep it going. And then of course you can pick it up again as you go, all the way around. You see, it's sort of taking your time. And again, if you didn't want to do curves, you could do lines, you could do zigzags or bubbles. It's nice just to try something a bit different now and again. Rose, I will. He's working today, is our Dobby. He's at school. He's got a potions class this afternoon, so yeah, all is quiet here at Sanntangle House. Okay, just putting some little lines, you see? First one side, then the other, as I work my way down. And you could go all the way along if you wanted to. You could put a dot on the end. I'm filling it in with just the line. And it depends on how thin your little waves are, if you can fit this in. If they're really, really narrow, then you might not. But it just adds that little extra bit of detail. You see, just working from one side to the next. There you go. So there's our little design there. So I'm going to come to the wider part now here, and I'm going to start in the middle. It doesn't really matter particularly where to start, but I'm going to come in and I'm going to create one of those lovely curls again, and then back down. And then similar on this side, being that I've started in the middle. And that's as far as the symmetry goes. I'm now going to create these little shapes, but there you go. All sort of different sizes. And I'm not going to try and make them the same. You see I've got a gap at the top here. I can come on in and add another one there. So keep them different sizes and try and make it a little random if you can. You see how I'm doing the curl, stopping and then coming back down. You can do it all in one pass if you want to, see? But I know sometimes it's quite nice to stop and look, just so you know you've gone far enough around. So you get that lovely shape at the top. And even though it's getting smaller here, I'm going to keep in with the shape. I'm not going to have it going off the end. There's something quite nice like about taking it off and then back on. It's sort of almost like a little dance with your pen, isn't it? And same there. Okay. So let's work on this side now. And again, I'm not looking at the other side on purpose. Let's do your own thing with it. I'm going to do one a bit larger there. Back around. And then go a little bit smaller. So it's sort of filling in the space as you go. Then any extra you get on the top, you can go ahead and add another in over there. And then along. And in we go. You see how that works? Curls and tails. And back in. Just sort of getting a bit smaller as you get towards the end here. And see how far we get. There you go. Okay, so we've got that little shape there. So at this point, I'm just going to swap pens for a moment. I'm going to bring in my blue one. And I'm going to add just a few bubbles just around the bottom of these shapes here. It's just that touch of colour. Again, you don't have to. You can stick with the black if you want. Or maybe one of the grey pens if you want to keep it similar, but just adding a touch in. So you don't need a lot of colour all the time, but it's nice to have a little bit in there. There we are. Just filling it in as you go. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be a massive amount, and I'm just sort of putting some in that bottom edge there. There you go. And then while I've got the pen in hand, I'm going to do an extra line or a little aura here, just quite thin on that one. And then same on this one. And just that touch of colour. So back in with my pen. So on the top of this one here, and again you don't have to start from the middle, but being that we've got a line, I might as well. And I'm going to come on round, and see that does look like it's going off, adding that little zigzag pattern in there. And see it's going off there. And just choosing these lines, this is the sort of the triangles that are in view. I'm going to follow the angle and draw in the same lines just to fill the shape in. Just sort of all the way along. So again, if you want to go the other way, the other direction, or you want to do vertical lines to cross, that's fine too. We just need some lines to fill it in. There you go. Come on there. And the spaces and the top there, I'm going to come up and round and put a little loop in, and then fill in those little gaps with your pen there. You can see a bit of one there, but much. Put some lines in. Same again. There we go. And just fill in those little gaps there. Up and along, and fill in the gaps. And just sort of keep going with that, up and along, and fill in the gaps. So that one you're gonna not see much of that. I'll put those lines back in. There we go. We've got that shape. Oh, thank you, Leslie. It's tea time.
You're welcome. Hi, guys. See you tomorrow.
Yes, Leslie's doing our live tomorrow, so if you want to have a go.
On the Sanntangle page.
Yes, doing our tile swap. Leslie's doing it. Some little wavy dots and dots and dash lines. There you go. See how it just sort of picks its way down. And again, I started in the middle. Again, you don't have to. I think it just sort of balances it out, even if we're not doing them completely symmetrical. There we are, just sort of wandering it down. And at the top here, it's going to be a bubble in the middle and bubbles either side. If you can get two, that's great. That's great. If not, just the one. And let's fill that in. There's a bit of the black ink there. Okay. Maybe that bit there as well. Okay. So let's have a look at the section now on the inside here. And what I want to do is I'm going to bring in another line. So we've got these marks to help us. So I'm going to come along and sort of join them up. There we go. They're not perfect, doesn't matter. Just want a little line. And again, just not too wide, sort of another narrow line there. There you go. Okay. So I'm going to create a little grid in here. So I want some angled lines, and I want it to look as though it's going all the way around. So even if it's going through, you see, I'm imagining where it's going, just working my way around. I'm going to have one there, see, and it's going to follow around. There you go. And again, just going to do it this way. See how it just sort of works its way, creates that little grid shape. We don't want too much of this, we just want a little gesture of it. Okay. And then in each of those little spaces, we just want a little square there. You could do a dot if you like. Just gives it a little bit of drama there with that bit of black. There you go. So you're just going to get a little bit at the top of those, but you want a full shape in the middle there. And working it round. Keeping it going. There you are. Just sort of wandering in and out there, putting those little squares in. There you go. So we've got that. So I'm going to turn it around for a moment now, because what I want to do is I'm going to work sort of upside down here. And I'm going to start in the middle, and I want to create a loop. Now I'm going to go either side. So I want a loop, and then another, and then another. And again, I'm going to put those little lines in. Now, I'm going to do all this way first. I just find it helps with the shapes if you do them all the same way first. And then this one. Again, following the shape round, and again, and again, and then again. You see? And then if I come back on this way now, 1, 2, 3, and again, 1, 2, 3. I can go back and put my lines in a minute. 1, 2, 3. And same here. 1, 2, 3. If I put those lines in, I can actually add an extra little loop there. Just being that there's space, I might as well. There we go. Just sort of in it goes. See? Little loop. There we go. So we've got that kind of a shape. Okay. So coming into this little bit then, now again, if you want to do a little line just to give yourself a guide, just a narrow strip there. And I'm going to create a loop, sort of a U shape in the middle, and then one either side. Now if they're not quite, or if you think, well, I'm going to get more than 3 there, then that's fine. You can imagine it going underneath. Let's see. Well, I'm just going to put one in the middle because I think it gives me a good starting point. See, that one's going to go under and fit with that one. There you go. And yeah, so we've got that. And again, I'm going to put these little lines in. I'm going to put a dot on this one. It's got a little bit more space to do that, so I might as well. So you're going to get a bit of one in there. Okay. Just little dots. All right, not too bad. So next little bit, are we ready? What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a bit of a curve. So I'm going to start here and come this way. If you feel more comfortable doing it this way, that's absolutely fine. But I'm going to come along and down, along and down, along and down, along and down. Okay. And then I'm going to take it the other way. So I'm going to go from here, about halfway to here. So see where that one's joined? There. And there. And there. Okay. So again, I'm going to fill this one with lines. And I'm just going to slightly turn the tile as I go. You see, just so it's got that sort of almost following it round shape. So I've started straight and then just turn it ever so slightly. See, bringing it round. And same on these ones. So start straight and then just turn your tile slightly each time. And just gives it that little sense of going around. Same with this one. There you go. See, oh, let's put one in the middle. Just sort of work it round. Little bits at a time. There you go. Okay. So, looking at the space we've got here, I'm going to come in again with those little loops. So I can actually get 3 in there. You might only get 2. So with my 3, I'm going to start in the middle and one either side, little lines. Same again. Again, if you can only get 2, start in the middle still. So you come up the middle and out, up the middle and out for 2. But being that I can get 3 in, I'm going to do 3. Everybody's is going to be different there, so it depends on what size you've got going on. And then I'm just going to switch back to my blue fine liner, just to do a little bit in the middle here. Okay, so I'm going to start with this curve here. I'm going to create 1, 2, 3 lines. I'm going to do that on all of them. There you go. Just working my way around 3 lines. So then I'm going to turn it round and see this curve. So I'm now going to go 1, 2, 3 on this side too. And again, if yours are a little bit smaller and you think, oh, it's too much, then you could perhaps just do 2. Or if yours is bigger, you could do 4. Yeah. Let's do another one this way. So again, 1, 2, 3. Same with this one. So you're just adding that little hint of colour there. What's that? That little bit of hope when the sun comes out. Okay, I'm not going to do any more there. I'm going to leave that one. But yeah, do like that as it is. Let's have a look at it. Okay, so this is where we're at. So just a couple of bits with pen just before we go on to pencil. You see these little triangles here? What I'm going to do is I'm going to thicken up the outer edge there. Just to give it a little bit of sense of thickness. And then I'm going to choose a side. It doesn't matter which, whether it be this one or this one. So if I go with this one, and thicken that side up too. Okay. All right, so far so good. So I could actually come in and fill in, I think I will, these little gaps in between these little loops. Now you could fill it with bubbles or lines, or you could completely leave it blank. It's up to you. But I think I'm going to fill it in here. It's not going to take too long. They're only small little bits and pieces there. Just adding those in. There you go. Just makes a difference, doesn't it? I know we don't always want a lot of black on there. And of course you could use grey or a different colour. But sometimes it really changes the piece. Just adding that little bit of ink on there. It's quite nice, and I think the fact that we're not working on a white tile or a cream tile today, it's got that little hint of blue-grey in the background. The blue colour of the fine line is just picking that up. It's working well together. So if I'd got a pink tile, I would perhaps have used a pink pen, that kind of thing. Okay, I did say I was going to do a little bit of inking. I'm just going to do that really quickly and then we'll get to shading, because what I want to do here is I'll show you. Sometimes we do tend to ink first, don't we? Well, actually I think what I'm going to do is just sort of rub out. You see I've got those pencil lines, don't want them anymore in my piece. So if you've got any pencil lines before you ink, you might want to just get rid of them. There you go. Just sort of a little bit of ink around the edge there. Now I'm not going to go around every edge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of focus on this top corner here, and then focus a little bit in this corner here. There you go. And of course you could have used one of the background stencils if you don't want to have a full ink and have it over the top and you just ink certain parts. So you see that's just giving us a little hint of colour there. Nothing major, but it's given us something. So, okay, let's move that out of the way. So, pencil now. Okay, first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start this end and I'm going to add just a little bit of pencil. Let's go a little bit bigger. Just over the top of that one there. Okay, little curves. And then these particular ones, I'm going to add some pencil just sort of across each side. Same with this one. And I'm over onto the top of the blue line there, but it doesn't matter if you come down. So I might just bring that down. And then the same on this one. You see I'm doing both sides. Same on this one. And then here, a little bit less because it's quite small. But I'm still going to do the same there. See? You don't worry about those bubbles if you did them. Same on those. Okay. So that gives us our first section. I'm going to use my tortillon and I'm going to work on these bits first. So here we go, just softening those off. Just a little bit. And these ones we're going to work around the curve. See that one? That just needs a bit of work in there. And same with this one. Again, I put the ink on before shading, because if you put it on after, you might move the pencil and you might not want to do that. Well, of course, you could have inked it right at the beginning. There's lots of ways of doing it. Sometimes I like to use spray and shine after I've completely done the tile. Let that dry and then ink over the top, and you get a little bit of a textured surface off that. So that's quite nice too. It's just nice to experiment, and because they're really small, they're really good ones to sort of do with. Try a few things with, aren't they? See, I'm not going to smooth that too much at all, because I don't want it to go on both sides. Or no, well, go to the middle. Same with this one, although I do have my white pencil. Or pen, you could use a white pen. There you go. So let's just do that whilst we're just working on this bit here. And coming in with a little bit of an accent there. And then a little bit in the middle. You see? Across everything that you've done, don't worry about going over the top of such things. We just want to add a little bit in. I'm not going to see much there, just a little bit. Same in there. Okay. So back to pencil, and I'm going to focus on these little shapes here. So I'm going to add some in to those little V's where we thickened up some of those lines there. There you go. And then I want to work inside these lines here. So I'm going to go over everything that I've done. See, I've gone sort of round the sort of square shapes, around the square shapes. You know what I mean. But completely round the whole shape. And same on this one. And just, don't be worried about adding some weight to your pencil here. You want it to be quite dark. There you go. Okay, and then just a little bit underneath there. So back in with pencil. That's what I'll do that bit first. It's a little bit shiny after putting your ink on there. And then let's work our way around these shapes here. So again, you want to try and keep a little bit of a highlight in the middle if you can. You don't want to completely fill it with graphite. Same with those, you want to keep a little bit. And work your way around it. Same this way. Again, if yours were a little bit smaller than mine, you might want to add a little bit less graphite. But you know what your tile's like. You know how it's working. You might have to do these swirls. We might just want to go straight. It depends how far you want that graphite to move. So just sort of, just enjoy this bit. There's no need to rush it. This is the bit that makes it, remember. You've done all the foundation work underneath with the pens, and now this is what's going to change the way it looks. Give it a little bit of depth there. There we go. Okay, so let's just have a quick look at that. There we go. We need a little bit more darkness, so we've got part of the shading to come. Let's do a little bit more. So first thing I'm going to do is on my lines here, where those first curves were, I'm going to put those lines back in. Just want to redefine it. See? Same with this one. And even if it goes over a few of those bubbles, it's fine. Just want it a little bit darker. And see, again, if you find that it's a bit tricky, just do little bits of it. You know, you can leave little gaps along the way. There you go. And then on this one here, we've got the inside sections. I'm going to thicken up those lines. But I'm just going to do one side. Okay, now I've sort of opted naturally for the side that I drew these thicker lines on. So you might want to do the same. As part of it, see? Halfway around. And along. Even if it's all black and you think, oh, it doesn't need it, still go along it. You see here where we've filled it in. Still go around and along. And then I'm going to do this one. And just back in with pencil. I'm not far off now. And I'm going to really come in and add some more pencil. Just again to that one side. We just want a little bit of extra shape there. Okay. And around we go. You see, I'm quite heavy this time with it. Back of the tortillon. Now I know I did say with this one it was a bit of a challenge for the weekends, you know, if you wanted a little bit more time tangling and you wanted a bit more of a project to do. You could actually extend this. You could draw it on a macro tile. You could split your macro tile up into 4 and draw one of these in each corner to create a full shape. Or you could, you know, use 4 different tiles. I know some of you very kindly brought the new sketch pad, you know, the monochrome sketch pad. It was on Hobby Maker last show. So you could even, I think I'm going to go even darker with those there. Now if you find, we do have this sometimes, if you can't go darker with the pencil you've got, you can bring your pastels in. I don't actually have my pastels with me. Or do I? Do I have some pastels? Yes, I do. Bring in your black in a second and add in a bit of black pastel. See, it won't seriously go over too much. Lots and lots of graphite. Do a little bit. Look at that. There we go. So you could bring your regular pencils in. Let's go really dark there. Let's bring a regular pencil in. Maybe there's just a little bit too much graphite for that pastel to sit on there. It does get really shiny, doesn't it? And the chalk's got nothing to sort of come off. There we go. So that's ever such a lot darker, and that's what we really want. We want some really dark areas there. And then let's add a little bit here too. And again, you don't have to press on so hard because we've got that graphite underneath. We just want to make it a little bit darker in those corners because, of course, the darker we go, the lighter our lights stand out. And that's what gives it that serious definition. There we go. Okay, let's have a look at that. Yeah, see here around the little blocks, a little bit underneath. And no, I'm not faffing, I know exactly what I'm doing. There you go. And then I think here, see where we've got this one here? I'm going to come on in just with that black and just add some, you know, just along the top there and along the bottom. There we go. So we definitely, now we've got that going in and out. Lovely. Yeah. So just having that little hint of colour in there, and then bringing in some darkness with that black pencil. I think I'm going to sign this one, but let's have a look. I'm going to put it here in this bit. So that's our tile for today. 276 to go on the little row that's on the desk. Well, I just want to bring in, let's just pull it up a little bit. Just want to bring in one I've started. And here we go. So this is in my sketch pad, my monochrome sketch pad. And that's, there we go, that's sort of the tile. It's got a little bit more work to do, a little bit more shading, but I just wanted to give you an idea of where it was headed. So there, look, is today's tile. But if I just put it down on the desk and zoom out a little bit, if I can, hang on a second. Doesn't want me to. Look what we can actually achieve with it. So here we go, a little bit more, it's a little bit more shading. See, I've gone with the sepia or the brown rather than the blue there, but there we go. Imagine this once it's finished all the way around. So, you know, a little bit of a you know, quite a hall, church window, something quite gothic in a sense that you can actually use to create your own version of. And these tiles are already printed in the book, so that's why I've left a gap in between. But entirely up to you. If you want to have a play with this and try even a little bit of glitter on there or something, it's just something nice that you can do. It's just going to give you a little bit more time, isn't it, to you, just to have a bit of a break. So if that's something you want to do, hopefully that's going to give you a nice little project. So there's the one that we've done this afternoon. So it looks lovely on its own, in its own right. If you want to take it a bit further, then that's where you can go with it. So okay, with that done and sorted, yeah, if you're around Saturday, of course, Leslie's doing Tile Swap 21 on 2 o'clock on the Sanntangle group page. So if you're interested in that, go over there to have a look at that. And then Sunday afternoon I'll be on Hobby Maker. And I think I've got 1, 3 and 5, so there will definitely be something new. And there's also going to be one dedicated purely to book 1 and just having a chill out and relaxing. So if you've got book 1 and you think, do you know what, I just want to do that, why not spend, you know, 3 o'clock with me and actually go through and have a go at a few of the tiles again. It's always nice to sort of go back and see them. So that'd be lovely. So okay, that's Saturday, Sunday. And then, of course, Monday, we're all sort of well, there won't be any posts going out, anything like that. And, of course, we've got a busy day there in terms of what's going on in the rest of the UK. So thoughts with you there. And then we're back to our regular tiles on Tuesday. So I will see you then. So have a good one, everybody. And I will see you soon. All right, take care then.